Today we're talking about ACE writing formula, which is a formula that students use to write paragraphs. They can use it to write a single paragraph or use it to help build their body paragraphs for an entire essay. When you start your ACE paragraph, you're going to have a question from your teacher or from a test. So your first sentence is going to answer the question. Then you're going to cite text evidence to support or prove your answer. Then you're going to explain how your citation supports the answer, and that ties it all together. Now let's set up our ACE paragraph. Generally, you're going to have a question from your teacher or possibly on a test. So the first thing you do is answer the question. Notice in the example how we reordered the question in order to answer it, and that makes our response clear and specific. Next, we want to cite support for our answer and use a signal phrase in order to properly introduce the quote or paraphrase. This comes from an article on birth order. But what you want to make sure that you do is choose a quote that definitely supports what you're saying in your answer. The last thing we need to do in our ACE paragraph is explain how our text evidence supports our answer. Because this explanation is a little bit longer, I would go ahead and pause the video so that I could read the sentences all together. Your explanation doesn't always have to be this long, but I would shoot for a good 3 to 4 sentences. Now we're putting it all together. I'd suggest you go ahead and pause the video again so that you can read the entire paragraph all at once. You'll notice that we use different colors for each part of the ACE paragraph, and we're going to identify parts of example paragraphs later the same way. Let's look at one more example before we try it on our own. This time we're going to use an example from the short story The Monkey's Paw, which some of you may have read. Here's the question. In The Monkey's Paw, how does the author use the knocking in the passage to build suspense? Answer. In The Monkey's Paw, the author creates suspense by pausing between the mysterious knocks. Next, we're going to cite text evidence to support our answer using a signal phrase. One line that demonstrates suspense is, and at the same moment, a knock so stealthily as to be scarcely audible sounded on the front door. Lines 299 through 300. The last thing we're going to do in our ACE paragraph is explain how our text evidence supports our answer. Because of the length of this explanation, I would pause the video so I can read the sentences all together. This student did a very good job of giving a thorough explanation of how the evidence supports her answer. Now we want to put our ACE paragraph all together. Because of the length of this particular example, it would be a good idea for you to pause your video so that you can read the example all at once. Notice that we did the answer in red, the citation in blue, and the explanation in green. Now, I've provided you 3 example paragraphs that were written by students, and what I'd like for you to do is use 3 colored pencils, a red, blue, and green, and identify the parts of the ACE paragraph in each example. The answer in red, citation in blue, and explanation in green. Make sure you read each paragraph carefully because some parts of the ACE formula could be out of order, but that's okay as long as each part is there and it was a well-written paragraph that effectively answers, cites, and explains the question. Make sure you keep this information handy because this is how we're going to write our paragraphs from now on. And as we move into writing more and more essays, this is going to be a really great formula to give you strong body paragraphs. Now let's start practicing writing our own ACE paragraphs.
Created using Powtoon.